okay, doing a little Palo Santo, which smells just unbelievably good to me. Sort of smells like the house I used to come to in the summertime. And it was the smell of a house that had been shut up all winter. It had a particularly sweet smell. And there was something to do with, it had been originally belonged to my great-grandmother. And then my grandmother, and then my dad and mom, and then we sold it right after my mom died. They were both there. They both died in that house. So it's like, woo! So it felt like home to me, and it was sort of the ancestral stomping ground. And hard to sell it. It was like the house was the matriarch somehow. And but there was a sort of sweet release too. It was like, oh, you take this with you. You take this place with you. And, there's been too much invested by too many people over too much time. It's just it's a kind of reservoir of energy. So I burn the Palo Santo in part because it smells like home, and partly because it sort of consecrates the, cards and the space and the intention, and I subscribe to that stuff. Surprise, surprise. And it makes me feel centered and sweet. To light the candles, to burn the incense, to sit down with some intent to, with your help, bring in the messages. Bring in the messages. Okie dokie. I'm called to use this deck even though it's a little bit shiny, and I hope it, I just hope it isn't distracting. And for now, I've been asked once or twice that, can you please show the spread? I'm having a hard time doing that because it's only me and one camera, and I think for now, until I get the technology worked out a little better, it's just better for me to hold the cards up. And I'll do my best to show them to you in the combos that matter. And I think it's less important that you get the kind of card-by-card placement than you get the sort of the whole story. Hear the whole story. Hear me out. I think it's looking forward to spring. We have the vernal equinox and daylight savings in March. And even though I'm in the Northeast and it doesn't feel like spring for a long time here, the light is different and things start to smell a little bit, and the ocean begins to smell like the ocean again. In the winter, it's hard to smell the sea. Everything's sort of clamped down, so the smells come back. And that light does something to our brains. It lights up, neural pathways that have been dark for a while. So let's look forward to spring. Let's look forward to spring. First up, Four of Cups. Yeah, this can be a card of regret, a card of not seeing something. Again, he's got his eyes shut. I'm always torn between, is this a card of disappointment or a card of meditation? And whatever it is, whether he's disappointed and missing, missing some love lost, or whether he's meditating on the love and calling it in, I think we have to see by the context. Because it looks to me like he's seeing this one cup in with his, his inner vision. Hierophant. Higher power, in this case, I'd say. Yeah, Major Arcana. So I'd say it's an inward turning focus to manifest this cup. And Hierophant can mean a number of things, but in this context, it's the big teacher, it's the guru, it's the higher power, internally, sometimes externally. In this case, I'd say internally. King of Wands. The active, pursuing, inspired, fiery fellow. He, she, they, really. But it's coming across to me as an actual masculine. And it would be a fire sign. Aries, Leo, Sag. Doesn't have to be, but it's that kind of power. And in fact, it doesn't have to be technically a masculine, but whoever this is, they're a kind of active, out there powerhouse. This aspect of them doesn't look powerhouse. It looks meditative and quiet. And something, because Hierophant can mean marriage too. Something is telling me this is a marriage between this sort of inner peace, inner calm, manifesting sort of with your third eye, and then this outward living, put it into action. It's a marriage of those two, with the higher power being the sort of, because this is a teacher card. Teacher and marriage, and one who sort of presides over the union. Hermit. This is fairly this has a spiritual bent. Let's put it that way. I mean, Hermit is the sage, the card of the sage, Virgo energy. Hierophant is Taurus. So there's a lot of earth energy in here. But also that King of Wands, put it into action energy. The Hermit can signify a withdrawal. Not in an escapist way, not in a, I can't hack it, so I'm going to kind of withdraw and I'll go to the quiet place. That's not Hermit. Hermit is the willingness to go into, okay, hang on just a sec. Wow. The willingness to go into this kind of quiet. And it's a practice, like the meditative practice. And it's a work of a kind in earth energy. It also indicates time. As an earth energy and just hermit in general. I mean, you can see it sort of looks almost like father time, mother time, and carrying the lantern. And a hermit does this internal thing, not just for themselves. It's an energy of lighting the path, of being willing to go to remove oneself in order to understand where you're going and to light the way as a kind of beacon. I mean, and who would be a beacon? This guy. You know, hermit coming back into the world in this energy. You know, fire sign, lighting it up. Lighting it up. And speaking of, this was the next card. The sun. Again, fire energy. Leo. The warmth. The revelation. The things coming to consciousness. The energy that's beneficial to everybody. To everybody. So talk about, you know, lighting things up. And hermit is often portrayed as somebody going into a cold place. You know, he's wearing this hooded robe. I was gonna say shroud, and it's not, but it's. And there's a skull down here in the corner. I'd never seen that before. I have a balance issue, so when I lean forward to look into the camera, the whole world goes wee. So if I look a little, that's why. But so this lantern light becomes this kind of a brightness in Wands energy, in fire energy. Hermit lighting the path toward revelation, basically. And next card, Eight of Wands. This is a very fiery energy. I mean, it's got earth and it's got water. But it's, I'm holding it right side up. It's Eight of Wands is on the move. You know, it's this guy's energy, he, she, they, communicative, purposeful, sending something in. It's almost like the beams of light is how I'm saying it. And it usually indicates messages coming in. Fast. Passionate, purposeful. Oh my God. I'm sorry, but Four of Wands? You know, home. A card of where the soulmates meet up. The place that accommodates like the most sacred connections. I mean, on a sort of mundane level, it can be like celebratory week, you know, the wedding, I can't think, because it's not, it's just not that. Not here, anyway. You know, and I think it's partly because there are all these cards of spiritual fire. And it lands, you know, it makes sense that these fireballs, these messages, is passionate communication. Back and forth, it implies a conversation. Two people. Well, so does this. It's the bower. It's where the lovers come together. I mean, and it's a spiritual place. You know, it may be an earthy place, hermit energy, Taurus energy, but it's also a, you know, If you're not there in spirit, you're not there at all. This is where you go in spirit to be with somebody. You know, it's a 1111 portal if you want to look at it that way. Six of Pentacles. Here's the earth energy. You know, you're there in spirit, but you're also here, both of you. And again, it sort of echoes the Hierophant, the big figure and the two little sort of supplicants. And not in this card, but in most Hierophant cards, there's the teacher guy in the center and the two supplicants or devotees, or so and this is a card of equal give and take. And it's merciful. It's merciful. Sometimes this card can mean piecemealing somebody, but oh no, look at her. And she's not only giving them money, she's giving them like a blessing. In her other hand, reaching down to give this guy a blessing. A physical touch. The physical touch. So you're here in spirit with somebody, but you're also here in 3D, in Pentacles energy. And it's a reciprocal give and take. Eight of Cups. To get to this place will involve, it appears, leaving something behind. Another 8. This time of Cups. In terms of, and leaving behind isn't quite the right way to put it. It's more like where you need to go for this kind of 4 of Wands, 2 of Cups connection. It will entail a move of some sort. And it's another 8. So we have the fiery movement, the messages, and somebody, it usually shows the guy on the trail. Here they're resting and contemplating this moonscape. There's usually a moon in 8 of Cups, but anyway, this is an interesting depiction. Because in the other one, he's looking at the path. In this one, he's looking at the moon. To light his way, right? We've seen that again and again. To light the way. And you haven't gotten here by, a lot of analysis. No sword energy yet on here. Not overthinking. Not caught up in, how to say it, how do I say it, how do I think about this sort of hamster wheel of, where you can't get out of your head. This is tapping in on your feelings, on the moon, on intuition, Cups energy. What do I love? And how do I get there? And I'm drawn by my feelings, by that sort of moon tide pull, Wowie zowie. I'm not even sure. I think that's it. I think that's it for now. This is mostly a fire sign reading with a good dose of earth. And it's fast, except in some way you're still on the path. You're still on the path. You're taking a breather. And it may just be contemplative. I think I did, you know, I'm trying to keep these short, but I think I have to clarify a couple. Because I just feel that sort of, don't stop here, you know. It may not be the right length video by somebody's standards, but okay, we're going to clarify Eight of Cups. And then we'll proceed on if need be. Hopefully we can just, you know, they'll give us a flash, like that Eight of Wands. That's not, you know, a slow-moving communicative energy. It's like a, it's more like a flurry, a fire flurry. Eight of Cups, please. Spirit, spirit, spirit. Oh, yes, Siri Bob. We have Nine of Pentacles and Ace of Cups. Clarifying. Eight of Cups. So here's a sort of, in the place of feelings and intuition, and on a path toward another kind of love, or a deepening of love. That's a better way to put it, a deepening of love, where it actually comes into Pentacles energy, big time. There's the 9. And this is, while this is a card of two people, equal give and take, this is a card of of independence, of somebody who's in their own garden, growing everything they need for themselves, and a surplus to share. A surplus to share. And there's your sword energy, their air energy that I said was absent. Well, here it is. I mean, in a really wonderful expression, 22:22 on the clock. You know, the opportunity for a new way of being, of finding your way to an independent place where you can discover a truth. You know, that's what Hermit does. Go to an independent place on your own. It's not like I'll consult with everybody and figure this out. There is a theme here of coming together, union, marriage even perhaps, certainly conversation that's true, that's based on the truth. But there's this very strong underlying thing of not getting lost in each other, maybe. It's a union, but of two independent people sharing. To me, that sounds like, you know, the relationship I would want anyway. I would think, and you know, I can't imagine who wouldn't want that. It's giving and receiving. And at the heart of the reading is the sun. Something will be revealed by this light, A path, a way forward. A path, a way forward. And this is where you're going. With everything, sort of the spiritual aspect of it, but also the very grounded 3D earth energy. For some reason, I'm not wanting to close it out. I think because it's just, there's nothing dark here. There's nothing dark here. It's bright light. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I still haven't figured out how to do these extended. It's driving me nuts. So this is it. This is the read for now. And I hope you enjoyed. It's free. Free to like, free to subscribe. grow the channel, which is happening. I mean, I'm stunned. I looked the other day and it was like, how did this happen? It's like overnight, woo, things are starting to gain momentum. Well, they are for you too. They're gaining momentum. They're gaining momentum. Cheers. See you soon.